of why today is so exciting is that we're introducing music into the mix. So, woo-woo! Now that we're done with Poetry Hour. So I wanted to say a couple words about Tracy. I met Tracy a few years ago when I crashed her birthday party. And luckily she thought that was really cool. And we became friends. And since then I've gotten to know her as a person. I've gotten to know her husband, James, who you met earlier, was our very first speaker at Creative Mornings. And I've gotten to know her music as a really badass indie musician who brings her own blend of alternative, dreamy, slowcore pop, and a little bit of punk. It's perfect for our first Creative Mornings music event. If you have your socks on, this is gonna knock them off. I'd love to welcome to the stage Tracy Shedd.
Thanks for being here this morning. Do you want to take a ride with me? Do you want to take a ride to the country? We can be free. Desert, in the mountains, by the shoreline, so effortlessly. In the desert, oh, in the mountains, by the shoreline, effortlessly. Oh, but do you want to take a ride with me? Do you want to take a ride to the country? And we can be free. We can be free. We can be free. It's called Chasing Time. Okay. Chasing time, I can't help but miss you. Chasing life, feels like you never left me. Take more time to watch the falling leaves. Take more time, take all the time you need. I'll be here to comfort you, but it's inside of you. I'll be here to lift you up, but it's inside of you. I'll be here to care for you, but it's inside of you. It's inside of you. We can give more than we receive. We can love more than we hate, and we can be. Oh, it's all inside of you. Take more time, take all the time you need. I'll be here to comfort you, but it's inside of you. I'll be here inside of you. Take all the time. Take all the time you need. Take all the time. Take all the time you need. Take all the time. Take all the time you need. Take all the time you need. We can give. We can love. And we can be. It's all inside of you. Thank you. I have two more, and then Whitney and Trent are up next. I met you in a club one night, and it was so nice. It was so nice. You taught me how to play the guitar, and it was so nice. It was so nice. We were running down the sandy road we discovered in the woods on that summer day. We were running hand in hand. How I never wanted that time to end. Oh, I wish that we were still friends. Oh, I wish that we were still friends. Oh, I wish we were still friends. And it would be so nice. We were rowing down the silver spring, kicking water in my face, bathing in the sun all day, remembering all those summer nights, how I never wanted that time to end. Oh, I wish that we were still friends. Oh, I wish that we were still friends. Oh, I wish we were still friends. And it would be so nice. Oh, I wish we were still friends. And it would be so nice. And this last song is called Letters. I did it again. I'll write you a letter. Turn it up a little bit. And this is the header. I'm glad you're in my life. I'll pour you a glass. Let's leave the past in the past. I'm glad you're in my life. We don't need to play around. It's hard to watch it all fall down. We don't need to play around. Who denies? Take a the time to know yourself. Take the time to know someone else and let them in your life and write them a letter. This is the header. I'm glad you're in my life. So glad you're in my life.
Thank you, Tracy. That was amazing. So we're moving on to the stars of the show today, Trent and Whitney. When I first moved here a couple years ago, people kept telling me to check out Live at Ted's. They said, they knew I loved live music, and everyone said, oh, you'll see. It took me a couple months, but once I started seeing shows here, I finally got the hype. My dad's a musician. I grew up playing music, and to have a place where people really come to hear the music and not just as like a backdrop for their conversations, it felt like my kind of place, and it is. But the reason why it is such a cool place is all thanks to what Whitney and Trent are doing. The listening room concept at Live at Ted's gives artists the appreciation and attention that they deserve. And in this day and age, that's really, really rare. So in honor of our theme this month, they're going to talk about some of the crossroads that they've experienced bringing this venue to life and growing it into what it is today. Let me put their picture up. There we go. So I'll stop talking now and bring up these two cool kids. Give a hand for Whitney and Trent.
All right. Good morning, everyone. How's it going? My name is Whitney Harrison, and I'm one of the owners here, along with my husband, Trent. And we're so happy to be here with you this morning and to give this talk. I used to do this a lot with wild high schoolers hanging from this rafters. So I'm already feeling way calmer of a vibe to give this talk. So the theme for today's talk, Crossroads, I think is one that we can all really resonate with. But when I started to think about my personal experience with it, I immediately thought of several crossroads in my personal life and professional life at this point. And being the very type A recovering people pleaser that I am, when I looked back and reflected on those crossroads, I really was shocked at some of the decisions that I made. They were good decisions, but I'm definitely on a different path now than I ever had imagined for myself previously. And the courage it took to turn away from the path that I was on and pretty set on for most of my life up until that point, it brought a lot of tears. I'm still heartbroken from it, for sure. I'm happy that I made the choice that I made, but I left a piece of myself when I made that decision because, like I said before, I used to be a teacher. And I grew up in Shelby, North Carolina, about 4.5, 5 hours from here, and had so many incredible choral music experiences throughout my life. So through middle school and high school, I had really impactful teachers. I got to do a lot of really cool stuff with professional conductors up until that point. So when it came time to go to college, that was the natural path for me. I just couldn't imagine doing anything else but then sharing that love that I hadn't been nurtured so much for me up until that point. And so on to UNC Wilmington I went. And I majored in music education with a concentration in voice. I had no idea what I was doing. I'm a first generation college student and graduate, and music school's hard. If you went, you know. I wanted to throw in the towel several times, but I'm so happy that I didn't. It absolutely shaped me into the musician that I am today. and brought so much confidence that I couldn't even imagine that I could have. So after college, I started my teaching career at New Hanover High School, and I was the teacher there for 4 years, the chorus teacher. And I inherited a pretty broken program. Enrollment was very low at the point, but I got in there and went for it, and I had so many incredible students throughout those 4 years that were just so talented. It made my life so easy to have such talented students. And we did a lot. We grew a lot in those 4 years. But also, by year 3, I could also feel that burnout really, really hard. Like I said, I'm very type A. I'm out there, like I'm a hard worker. It was very much noticed, and I got more and more stuff put on my plate, and I just couldn't do it anymore. My mental health was suffering. My physical health was suffering. And so then I was at my first major crossroads. The path that I was on since I was probably, 7 or 8 years old, really, I knew that I had to step away. And so I left my job teaching, and I started doing property management. And I had already met my wonderful husband at that point, and he owns a studio called Hourglass Studios, a recording studio in town, and I began helping him. And so here's Trent to talk about the studio a little bit.
All right. Good morning, everyone. So, like she said, I own and operate Hourglass Studios here in Wilmington, North Carolina. I've been doing it for about 16 years here, and I'll just give just a short bit about it because this is really more about Ted's, but there was a moment that kind of led in this direction through the studio. So I have a degree in recording engineering and from Guilford Tech in High Point, North Carolina. I've also got a degree in business from UNC Wilmington. That's what brought me here to Wilmington, was going to UNCW. So I started the studio 16 years ago and kind of grew over the years. Always had a passion and interest in live, concerts from a playing side. I played the bass, and then eventually, like the inspiration or the passion to maybe one day have a venue started to grow. And was always loved the studio. The studio will always be a part of my life, but I always knew that there was maybe something else that I could be doing in the music industry that I was very interested in and passionate about. And I want to say it was 2016 or so. There was a couple of bands that I was working with in the studio that were playing here at what was Ted's Fun on the River at the time. And they were like, yeah, you should come out to our show. We're playing at Ted's Fun on the River. And I was like, what is that? Where is that? I was like, they're like, it's a small little listening room down by the Cape Fear River, close to the water line. I was like, okay, I know where that is. How have I never heard about this place? And so I came out to the show, and it was amazing. Like, I loved the listening room concept. I was like, this is awesome. It's not just a rowdy bar. Like, I heard everything you guys were doing. It was more reminiscent of what I get in the studio, where I hear everything, right? And I really love the concept. And so we kept coming to shows here and there over the years. And then, so that was kind of like how we got there. And then the Jewels announced that they were going to retire, and they were hoping that someone would continue it. But either way, they were going to step away, sell the property one way or another. And we saw that, and we're like, hey, is this our opportunity to maybe get into that live world? And here we are now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Awesome. So there's some pictures of the recording studio happening for you up here. We're located on the end of Castle Street where it turns into Wrightsville Avenue. Mm-hmm. And it is a full-service professional recording studio. So if you ever need a recording,
if you want to cut a track,
this is
just
the guy.
hit me up.
Mm-hmm. So like Trent said, we knew that the Jewels were wanting to retire, and so we saw this opportunity to finally step into the live music industry, and we started talking about what we would do with the space. So we bought it in March of 2019 and immediately set out to do some renovations. So there used to be a wall here that went through about to where this lady right here is sitting. And it really divided up the space. This was like where the shows would happen. And then on this side, there were snacks and things that you could purchase and ice cream and whatever. I hear that that's where all the talking happened before. No. That's not good. But so when we got it, we weren't going to do any of the store aspect of it. And so we took that wall out to expand the audience space. Went from a capacity of about 40 to 70 is our overall capacity now. And so we did the renovations. I decided to take I mean, my background is classical music, really. So I decided to take some online courses with Berklee College of Music in music venue management and music business, which were amazing. I learned so much from those programs. And between that knowledge, Trent's already knowledge of sound and business, that really laid our foundation. And so this is one of our first shows right here. This is the Jewel family, and they perform here still. They're called the Port City Trio.
That's Ted.
That's
right
Ted.
there on the left. That's Ted.
Yeah, that's Ted. And so we started off, things were going well. This is September of 2019. We had a few sold out shows initially, which were really good. Things were kind of slow at the end of the year, but that's typical. We've learned now doing it, since then. We got married in there too. Just throw that in there. Yeah. And then by January 2020, February 2020, we were rocking things. Like we had tons of sold out shows. Our first big show that I booked, it was like a band that I grew up listening to, and I convinced them to come, and it was incredible. And then I know what you're all thinking. What could go wrong?
Great timing.
Yeah. Real weird. So COVID, and we were closed for
Crossroads, right?
What a crossroads.
Yeah.
We were closed for over a year and a half during COVID. Obviously, you cannot socially distance in this space. And so that crossroads, like, are we going to keep doing TEDs? Like, what does the live music industry look like after COVID? Yeah. Will people ever be comfortable enough to sit this close together?
Right.
Thankfully, yes. Again. So we didn't actually make the call right then, but we had looked at the data. Trent loves a spreadsheet. So we had looked at the data at that point, and we realized that TEDS was doing really well before COVID. I mean, like, in perspective. So we were like, okay, maybe we shouldn't throw in the towel quite yet. Let's just keep,
It'll be over in a couple months.
Yeah, it'll be fine. So we whittled our bills down to the most that we could, and then there was a federal grant that came out during that time specifically for independent music venues, and so I applied for that grant, and we got it, and that helped us pay our bills. It helped replace the roof that was like 18 years old, which was crazy. I couldn't believe that it was still functioning. And then also when we did have the opportunity to reopen, it allowed us to restock our inventory and start business again. So that was crucial. So then we reopened in July of 2021. And at that particular time, COVID numbers were super low. I don't know if y'all remember that summer, but we started back and we had the first 3 shows were sold out. Just awesome. We were like, sweet, this is perfect.
Great.
Yeah. That was also the time shortly after that in August of 2021 that the COVID numbers spiked again, and like people got scared again, and then it was dropped off, and people were getting sick, like our performers were getting sick, so we were having to cancel a lot. We would put things up and then we would have to cancel it, and that's a lot of work too, to refund everybody, to get the word out, all of that. So it was just not good, and we were ready to throw in the towel again. About 6 months into it, it's like, we're sitting down here. There was an attendance for one of them was like 2 people.
We had a show for 2 people at one point, and then at the half, somebody left, and it was just 1. And then I think the other person left too.
Yeah.
And so we were like,
We were just
hey, if you obviously if you don't want to continue to play the show, we'll just pack it up and go home, right? He was like, nah. He's like, I'll play for you guys.
His name was Woolly Booger, if that gives you.
Yeah. He was a character, but he was a good songwriter.
He was. It was fun. So we were thinking about throwing in the towel. Trent's dad, actually, who is a very successful businessman in his own right, was kind of our cheerleader at that point. He was just like, I think you have something really special here. I think you just need to keep pushing. I think you just need to keep going. And we listened to Trent's dad. He gives great advice. So we were like, okay. So just for reference at that point, and that's the end of 2022, our average attendance here was 29. So that's 29 out of 62 seats, which doesn't sound terrible, but there was a lot of 9s and 11s, 2s in there. So then we reached 2023. And at that point, we were already into the spring of 2023, and the local public radio station, WHQR, reached out to us. Yes, WHQR. And they asked if we would be interested in helping them host their Soup to Nuts live series. So that's something that's been going on for over 20 years now that they've been doing in their space at the MC Ernie Gallery. And it featured local and regional musicians. It's an hour-long radio show that's recorded with interviews and performance and everything, and then they air it on the radio later.
We have one on Sunday.
We do. We have one on Sunday. It's sold out, but we do have one on Sunday. And so they knew about our recording capabilities here. Obviously, if Trent's involved in it, we're going to be able to record things, and we do record a lot of shows here. And so they reached out to us, and we were like, well, this seems like a natural partnership. Let's do it, And so we've been doing that with them since 2023. And they've always advertised those shows, but then they also advertise our other shows, which is amazing. George Scheibner over there is one of our really good friends, and he has been so supportive of us and believes in us, like to this day. Like the bands that are coming tonight and tomorrow, like they sent their music into him, and he plays it, he spins it, he plugs the shows for us. It's just incredible. So we owe a lot to our friends over at WHQR for sure. And then later in 2023, we were approached by another radio station, 98.3 The Penguin FM. The Penguin, yes. We love them too. They had an idea where we would host and record artists that were coming through to Greenfield Lake and do like a small little interview, a couple of songs, and they wanted to do it in our space because it's the proximity to Greenfield Lake Amphitheater versus their studio is close to the beach. And so we were like, yeah, that sounds awesome. So that's the first one that we did. That's the Steep Canyon Rangers, which I love the Steep Canyon Rangers. That's probably one of my favorite bands. Like I've been listening to them since I was 15 or 16 years old. So that was magical. And so that was our first Tiny House Series concert that we hosted here. And those aren't open to the public, unfortunately.
But you can listen to it or view it. It's filmed as well on their YouTube channel.
Yep.
If you want to check it out.
So on the Penguin FM's YouTube channel, and then we also get a lot of content from that we share on our social media of some of the performances that we have, here. So that brought a lot of social media attention and boosted attendance for us as well. Had a lot of people come in. They were like, I heard about y'all on the Penguin. I'm like, wow, okay,
heard y'all had the Wood Brothers. I'm like, well, yeah, sort of.
We did, kind of. I think, that's Jimmy Herring.
No, that's Warren Haynes.
No, it's not. It's Warren Haynes. Sorry. I get those confused. But that was that one. Here's the Wood Brothers. You can't really see it, though. But they came. It was so cool. So now we're here, 2024 on, and we're selling out shows every weekend. If not the entire weekend. Thank you. Appreciate it. So our current average attendance is 60 out of 62. Yeah, it's awesome. And I think that those radio opportunities helped us a lot. But I think that there's some other things that we were doing from the start and continue to do that also helps us set ourselves apart. First of all, the sound here. Trent's been doing this for a long time now, and the room naturally just sounds great because of the high ceilings, the wood, the warmth of the room in general. But then all of his additions, he'd spent a lot of time in here making sure that it sounded just right. Mm-hmm. So I think that's important. And he does it. He's the sound engineer. He's here every weekend.
It's me.
So that's a big part. Consistency. So if you come to a show at Ted's, you're going to see most likely both of us, if not one of us. And if we can't be here, then we're closed. We're the only 2 employees, really. We have my brother, Alex Lanier, fills in sometimes for sound. I have a guest bartender every once in a while if I need to be gone, but otherwise we're here. And so we just feel really passionately about that. Yeah. This is our passion project, and we love our patrons. We love the musicians that we host, and we just want to be here always.
Yeah.
So
see your friendly face.
Yeah. Another thing too is you keep hearing this word listening room. Raise your hand if you've ever been to a listening room before. Okay. All right. Cool. Nice. So it's a different concept. It's really nice though. So everybody comes, they're seated, they're listening. It's an interactive experience really, that you can ask questions to the musicians up here. They tell stories behind their songs. Like, sometimes we'll have, a lot of local folks that come through, and you might see them other places, right, for free. But when they come here, they're going to tell you why they wrote their song and what it's about. And they share life, stories about life on the road. And it's just a different experience. And
you get the behind the scenes.
And
nice.
I think, too, it's just such a connective experience. Everyone's engaged. Everyone's on the musical journey together. And I see so many people moved in this space because of that. We cry, we laugh, we sing. And for me, it really connects to my classical music background and singing in choirs and that type of interactive experience that you get from that because everybody's seated and quiet, right? It emulates that, but we do folk, pop, indie pop, blues, bluegrass, a lot of bluegrass. I'm a big bluegrass fan. So it's just an experience that you can't get anywhere else in Wilmington. So, and there's not a lot of listening rooms left. There are some, and they're starting to pop up more, which is cool. People are looking for that experience, I think, that connectivity. Another thing is that I think that we've done up until this point is tried to build some trust with our audience and our patrons. Our main focus is hosting original music. That can be difficult because we're booking people that, you may have never heard of before. And so I spend lots of time going through an artist's YouTube page looking for live performance videos. Because I know what the magic can happen in a recording studio very well. And so I'm looking for lots of live performance videos, and I'm looking for, something that hooks me, whether it be an incredible voice, some really good instrument, if you're just a good instrumentalist, the lyrics to your songs. Like, I'm trying to find something that grabs me because really the only thing that I've got going for me at this point is that, one, people are starting to trust me, and two, I got to have a video to show, a little bit of what you've got going on and what you're going to bring to the table. So it encourages people to buy tickets. And so that's been really cool to see that level of trust being built. I see people now just taking chances on stuff, and that's amazing. And I take that trust very seriously. Like, I never want to disappoint anybody, for sure. And lastly, we're constantly improving. Like, that's something that I love about Trent. We definitely align in that way, 100%. We're always trying to get better. We're always trying to grow. We're always trying to, and so we've recently added this green room space that you might have went in earlier. It doubles as lodging. So if there's somebody on tour, it actually seats 4 people. So the 2 chairs back
There's
there.
a Murphy bed that folds down to
Yeah.
a queen bed.
Murphy bed and 2 chairs that convert to twin beds back there. And so that's an option now that we can offer. We have a back bar area now with a dishwasher and glassware, so we're not using a ton of plastic, which was a big move on my part. I really wanted that. Thank you. Yeah, that made me sad. And so we have recently upgraded our recording capabilities in the space. We have a new web ticketing platform that we're using, eTix out of Durham, North Carolina, which we're super excited about, and a new website and merch design on the way. So we're always trying to get better. Never going to be stagnant here with us. So,
That's right.
yeah. But, you know, the support that we've received, especially over the past year and a half, I mean, it's absolutely confirmed that we made the right crossroad decision, you know, that COVID crossroads. The easier, more sane move would have been to just throw in the towel there. But after lots of hard evenings sitting down here with just the 2 of us and a handful of people, to now hosting sold out shows every weekend is just incredible. And we're so thankful we kept going. We're so thankful for the community support. It's just tremendous. And we're just happy to be sharing our love with music with others. So,
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. I'm so convinced that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, and so that's nice. Yeah. Thank you. Okay.
I won't take the mic.
Okay.
If anyone has a couple questions, we can probably hear you, so just speak up.
Sure.
Curious what's on your name tag for both of you.
So I have Billy Strings because we didn't have tickets, and then last Friday we got last minute tickets to go see Billy Strings, and it was the best decision.
It was a great show. Mine says chicken or steak fajitas. I mean, it's a serious decision. It's okay. Yeah. Anyone else?
So how do you find your acts? I mean, a lot of them are out of town and
Mm-hmm.
bringing that music in.
Yeah. So a lot of the times people reach out to me, and I don't know really how they find us besides that we do have some pretty good SEO at this point. Like if you type in live music Wilmington, we're going to come up pretty soon up in the search results. But I've also, over the years now that we had a couple of bigger shows, and those booking agencies, those artists are working with booking agencies. And so those shows going well led to that booking agency sending us more of their artists on their roster, which has been really great because we get, like, especially later this year, we've got a lot of up and coming artists that are really making like big waves in their genre. And it's because we've made those good connections with those booking agencies up until this point. And sometimes I reach out too, like I've reached out to some people that, I was like, well, I'll just reach out. All they can do is say no or just ignore me, which is fine. And so, but that's all kind of, a little give and take. But most of the time people reach out to me. So
You ask Billy Strings to come.
I would die.
We would love
So
that.
actually, there's 1 degree of separation to that right now. So we hosted last week
Yeah.
on Tuesday, Shadowgrass, the bluegrass band that played at Greenfield Lake. And on Wednesday night at the Lincoln Theater, Billy Strings played with them. I was like, all right, that's about as close as we're going to
They're
get.
awesome. If you don't know them, check them out. They're
Yeah,
great.
They're great. So.
I may have a connection for you. My nephew just opened for his banjo player, Billy Failing.
Oh,
And he wrote his first songs in Wilmington.
amazing. That's so cool.
That's great.
Well, tell them to hit us.
send it.
Yeah, tell them to hit us
Send them
up.
on over.
Bluegrass, friendly reminders. Everybody look them up.
Sweet.
Little nepotism.
Awesome. Yeah, Ling.
First of all, I can't even believe you know my name.
I do.
I know you do. Every time I'm like, how do you know that?
I got a weird memory.
I have to tell you, I was at the dog park the other day, and this guy had just moved here, and we were talking about live music, and he says, have you ever been to Live at Ted's? My parents took me there. Blew my mind.
Cool.
So I just want to tell you that you guys are a treasure that
Thank you.
so rare. And so many times I meet people that have just moved here, and they say that this is the place they've been told they have to go.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate
And,
that.
Trent, we first met you going to Goat and Compass. That
Yes.
was when we started finding so many musicians and
Open mic night. Yeah.
with Eric.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For years
That
we were
was
there.
such an
That's awesome.
window. So
Mhm.
thank you for being so involved. And my only last question is, can you tell us a little bit about local musicians that you've actually recorded and gotten progress their career with your help?
Yeah. Let's see. Worked with several along the way. Well, the one on the picture right there is the Brown Dirt Cowboys. Did their record last year,
That's
and they're
going.
slowly building up their following. They're starting to get out there, hoping to hit some of the festivals over the summer and starting to make some waves. So if you don't know the Brown Dirt Cowboys, go check them out. Their record's on Spotify. Weary of the Maze is the name of the record. Let's see.
And they're coming here June the 20th.
Yeah.
That
you
one
can
will
catch
definitely
'em
sell
here.
out too. So if you want to come see them here.
Yeah. I've worked with the Hatch Brothers as well. Also starting to, get the wheels turning and building a good following for themselves. So, yeah, there's quite a few over the years. If you're ever curious, you can go to hourglassstudios.com. I have a portfolio on there, and you can check out some local music and, yeah, check it out there.
Yeah, thank you. Yes.
What words of advice do you have for people that would like to pursue something in the same, just general? I'm just curious from your experience what you would recommend or what you would say.
I mean, like Elaine brought up, the Goat and Compass for years. I mean, we did that for 5 years.
Yeah.
And that was a really good way to connect with people. And he got a lot of business from that. There was like a prize for if you played at the open mic, you got put into the drawing for free studio time. So that was a good way for him to get connected with some people in the community too. I would just say that aspect of networking and connecting and doing things like this really are helpful in building those relationships and getting your start in the industry. I also, like I said, from the technical aspect of what I did, like I said, the Berklee College of Music program, the online programs, you get what you put into it, right? And I got so much out of that. When I went to schedule our first big show, I actually called Bo Gunn at the Penguin, and I was like, Bo, I'm about to book my first band. I have a meeting with this guy on the phone tomorrow, and it's like a real booking agent. I was like, what do I need to know? Like, tell me. And everything that he said in that phone conversation, I knew exactly what he was saying. I was like, okay, cool. Thanks, Berklee. Appreciate that. That worked out. So I don't know if that answers. Yeah. You're welcome.
So do you think you're going to, you're getting all these sold out concerts
Mm-hmm.
now. Do you start to think about expanding the space in terms of?
Yes. We have thought about that a little bit. We never want it to get too big that it loses its like intimate connective feel. But we do realize for both ourselves and the artists for sure would appreciate being able to sell some more tickets. So the thought does cross our mind, but it probably won't happen anytime soon if we do it at all.
It would mean that we would have to close.
It would be difficult. We're in a limited
we would have
footprint,
to go this way.
but we would probably have to
Or
tear out these walls and absorb the deck to be able to do something like that, because we're kind of at the end of our property line over here. So it wouldn't be the easiest thing, but it's not impossible. So we'll see. We'll see if that happens.
for sure.
And
Yes.
kind of a follow-up to that, what do you think is missing in Wilmington as far as venue?
Great question.
400 seat mid-sized music venue.
Mid-size,
100%.
yeah.
And we thought about doing that at one point before Ted's, which now with COVID and everything, we're really glad that those roadblocks
Yeah.
were found pretty early on.
I think there's a reason why there's not one.
It's hard.
It's a very difficult business model being in that odd middle ground space. And it's like every show is, I've ran the numbers before, and it's almost like every show that you do really has to hit. Like you can't afford to have like a bomb, just because it's such a tight margin. The bigger guys have a little more play. Smaller, it doesn't hurt as much if we miss one. But in the middle, it's really, because you need about all of the same like staffing and like systems in place and everything as some of the bigger venues, but you don't have the size to sell as many tickets.
Mm-hmm.
So Reggie's, I'm not totally
positive.
sure.
That's like maybe the only venue in town that I don't know the capacity of.
Yeah.
Bougie's
Bougie's 120.
That's standing.
Greenfield
like
Lake's
all standing.
1200.
And then the big one down the street is
7,200.
7,200. So, yes.
I know that Thalian has like a 5-year plus plan to expand
Mm-hmm.
into the older city hall offices and
Yeah.
utilize those spaces for like different types of artists and
Yeah.
musicians around town.
That'll be a 300 seat.
300s. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's pretty close then. Yeah.
Like, are y'all thinking of collaborating with them or like getting involved in their like expansion?
I mean, we had never thought about it. I don't know if we have the time, honestly. I mean, so Trent runs this recording studio during the week. I do property management still. So we do this pretty exclusively weekends, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday afternoon. And have been approached in the past, done some like just one-off type, like where people will hire us to program, like if they're having a party, they'll hire us to arrange all of the live sound for them and then book the bands. So we have done
Private events.
and stuff. We have done that in the past, but I don't know if we would be willing to take on a bigger commitment like that at this point for our sanity.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed learning more about you and your background.
Thank you.
I noticed that you blocked out the Wilmington Voices weekend.
Yeah.
I know we have a couple of other people here from Wilmington.
Yes.
Voices singing with them.
I am. Yes. Yeah, I can. So we are so it's next weekend, Friday and Sunday. We have performances at Keenan Auditorium, and we're presenting "Considering Matthew Shepard," which, if you don't know Matthew Shepard's story, it's a super sad one. But this piece of music is it tells his story. And there's so many uplifting aspects of it too. It's so it's kind of our first major work that we've done at Wilmington Voices. Most of our concerts previously have been just like a theme, but a lot of different choral music as far as composers and time periods go. So this is our first collective major work that we're going to be performing with a small orchestra, and yeah, it has a lot of different genres of music throughout the major work. There's a gospel tune, there's a country tune, there's some more classical sounds, like old choral music when you first listen to it, just because it's got a theme to it that sounds kind of medieval, but it is all written pretty currently because the composer is still alive. So it's a really cool work. So you can buy tickets online. You can go to wilmingtonvoices.com, and under our performances there listed there, we'll have both performances, and it'll take you over to the Keenan Auditorium website. And tickets are $25, and there is a military and student discount on there too if you fall under those. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for asking that.
Anybody else? All right.
Well, thank you.
Great.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate you.